Welcome, February 27th, 2023, and we're here to review three games from last week, starting with the New Jersey Devils against the Habs, and the game against the Flyers, and the game against the Ottawa Senators, and a preview of the up and coming Tuesday night game against the San Jose Sharks. Plus, we will be discussing the Dadanov trade, and we will discuss some of the trade rumors going around Habland. Okay, and first and foremost, you're at Center Heights Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribes. We'd like to grow and we like having you here. So we might be able to go into some live shows if we can get our numbers up to a certain point. But I can't do that until I have much higher numbers. But anyway, it's a work in progress, and I thank those who have joined us. Anyway, let's start with last Tuesday's game against the New Jersey Devils. Well, this was a classic case of a game we should have lost. When you think of the matchup, they were so much more advanced than the Habs. And really, I got to say, good job, Habs. Did a very, very good job. I mean, I think they came out flying with tons of speed. And I think the New Jersey Devils, as we've seen a 5-2 outcome, and there was different production from everywhere. Nice to see Suzuki starting to produce again. We're getting some production from Matheson, Barron, and it's kind of spread out. What can you say about Alonen and Harvey Pinard? Oh, my word. Just such great additions. And even Bazile has, looked good while he was there. I think this is really showing. These kids are showing the vets this. They're giving them a run for the money, and they're showing them. From what I can see, they're playing much better hockey than these vets were. We've had a case of veterans who don't want to put 100% in, and these kids are doing it and playing well above their heads. But the New Jersey Devils, had they have been ready for us, I think they would have beat us because they're further into progress. But they took us lightly, and Sam Montembeault had a great game. But the team played well together for Montreal, and it was a great team effort. So hats off to the Habs for taking this one 5-2 and shocking the hell out of all of us. Beautiful job. Great coaching, Martin St. Louis. And then we go onward to our next game with the Philadelphia Flyers. Yes, we went to see the Flyers, and this is again another game. These are two games straight now. I thought would be losses. We defeat the Flyers. What the heck is wrong with Carter Hart? Somebody tell me that. And for the media to have the audacity to compare him to Carey Price, no, this kid's not in the same realm with Carey Price. Sorry to say, just not there. Whether it be that maybe he's in the wrong place, I don't know. But he's not Carey Price. He's nowhere near close to that stature. So for us, again, what was the? This was a weird week. Three games, 5-2. Why was 5-2 such a standout number? Shocking. You don't see that too often. All three games, 5-2. Habs defeat them quite easily. Again, well-rounded production coming out of everybody. And like I say, I'm glad to see Suzuki finally producing again. Again, I think there's credit that's not being given to Christian Dvorak. And I think Habs fans need to wake up and look at your quiet heroes, because this is a guy that gives you some grit. And until we get our youngsters there, this guy needs to stay put, because he gives you the heart, soul, and gives you that bit of grit that we need. Now, to say, once again, these kids are just shocking us all and blowing our minds. So great job again by the Habs defeating the Flyers. And the Flyers, I gotta wonder, are they kind of doing what a lot of the teams below us are doing and deliberately tanking? It just makes you really wonder if they're trying to get better position in the draft. Although I don't think Torty would like that much, but he's been on teams that have done it anyway. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that game is behind us. Then we go and we have the Sens come to us, and this one is I expected. No, again 5-2. No shock. We're no match for the Sens, to be honest. They're much farther advanced. Same as the Devils should have been, but the Devils took us lightly. But with the Sens, always are up for Montreal. Always up for Montreal. They could have the worst team in the world, and they'll be up for Montreal. But anyway, they easily manhandled us. And this was a game, like I said, the Flyers, we had Jake Allen back in the net, and he did quite well. And the team played well. So that was two games with reversal of goaltenders that we played quite well. But Sam comes into a game against the Senators, and he does not look very good at all. He didn't face that many shots, and to be beaten off of 20 some odd, 22 shots, I believe it was, that's not a good scenario. And yeah, we got beat. So be it. That's more what I'm expecting. I'd like to see us get a little closer. So, and it's sad because it kind of, without Arbor Jack Eye, you don't get that at least that punch back that we need to have against them. I think this was an easy win for them. And our kids, don't worry. Yeah, we're behind in the rebuilds compared to the Sens, and they're ahead, and that's the way it should be. But I'll tell you, with these kids, the way they're coming in, and then you get the rest of the talent that we know is below, that once these kids get some weight on them, some meat, then the Habs will be ready to compete. But we have to do well in the drafts, and we have to develop these guys right. So, again, we take a 5-2 defeat to the Sens. No shock. Don't expect us to very often beat the Senators. Not going to happen. So, with that saying, that gives you the reviews of the week. Now we come into this week. Today being the 27th, 28th, we play the San Jose Sharks. And there was movement, remember, from both of these squads before this game. Tiemeyer, I believe, to the Devils, and great pickup for them, great acquisition. I think he'll fit in, gives them a little more grit that they're going to need for a playoff push. So I think that was a wise move on their part. Where did he end up in? Anyway, so there was good movement, and I know Tampa did something as well. One of them picked up T. Meyer. I thought it was Jersey. But anyhow, good moves either way. Gives them a little something else grit-wise for playoff push. He's a good card for that. For us, good move. Good move Sunday. Very good move. We finally got one of the Rat Pack gone, and that being Dadanov. I think this was a win-win for both teams. DeBoer seems to think that this is somebody he can rely on, where he coached him in Vegas, so he's there in Dallas, and we get Gunnaroff, and for us, I think that's a better shot for us as well. A little more youth in him, and a little more upside for value. With a chance to get himself back on pace with a coach like Martin, that could be the answer. So there's nothing to be lost there. And then picking up Cherney, that was a great move as well. So when you get Gunnaroff and Cherney, this is up to them. There's no loss here. You can't lose. We got rid of Dadanov. Good move. We pay half of his salary. I can live with that. That's one of the Rat Pack gone now. We got to get Jonathan Drouin and Mike Hoffman gone, and maybe a defenseman like Edmonston or Wideman. I don't know if it's at all going to be possible, because injury-wise, we got set back at value we could get, and there's too many teams putting value out there now. But good job for the Habs on that week. They got 2 out of 3. Not bad at all. Played way better, although I don't like it in the sense that we're losing ground on getting Bedard. Anywho, we have the Sharks coming up, and they made so many moves, unloading players, that they're going to be a weaker squad, and they're trying to bottom out as well, tank, and to get a better shot at Bedard or someone of that nature. No surprise here, but for us, the Sharks are trouble. I don't know. It just seems like no matter how bad that team is, they seem to always, always hand it to us. Yeah, they just seem to always give us the abuse. And really, what can you say? Yeah, and it's goals that I think that this will be closer, though. I think they're both rebuilding squads. I think we got some good speed, but I don't know what it is. If it's the grit wise that they're such a big team physically, they always seem to beat us. So I would expect maybe it's a little closer, 4-2. I'm going to call it with the Sharks. So really no shocks. They did make a lot, like I say, us picking up Tierney. Good move because you got nothing to lose. If him and Gunnaroff don't pan out to do anything, you can let them walk on the off season. No loss. Same as now we're going to get in. We've got the games behind us. Now the review is behind us. Now we can discuss. Like I say, great trade from Hughes and Gordon with make pulling off that Dadanov move. It was time, and he just didn't fit in Montreal, as we could see. And I think it's because he's at the latter stages of his career. Maybe he'll. I think he can be. He's sheltered a bit in Dallas. They got such a veteran squad. They're very deep, so he might not look his warts might not be as bad. It's hard to play in Montreal when you got a team that's loaded with third and fourth liners until that talent level comes up. I don't care who you are, you're not going to look anywhere as near as good as you could be with a team that's got some depth. But that being said, good move by Hughes and Gordon to make this. There's more of a chance of Gonorop having a shot at getting back to a level he was at. There's more upside to him, and I like the trade. It's yeah, it gives Dallas that veteran that they think they can rely on. Go for it. We'll take the upside of the younger player, and let's hope. And then, Tierney, that was just get to pull him up there. I thought that was a great move, a good pickup. And right away, he gets on the scoreboard. So those are kind of good pickups to fill the voids of guys like Dadanov. I'd rather have him than Dadanov, to be honest. So, with that being said, good work so far for the Habs. In a lot of trade movements happening. And, surprisingly, like I say, I see like Tampa for me is they always get that player that gives them a little extra. So they make good moves. They always make that little, although they're selling the future a bit, but they are a team that's designed for now. They're kind of like Boston. It's all or nothing right now, and they gotta, they're good enough to have another crack at a cup. So I get where Breeze was thinking. With New Jersey, great adding on a veteran there to give them some grit and size. They needed it. So good trade on their end. Um, I look at Toronto, and I don't know what type of drugs Dubas is on. Yeah, keep addressing the offense, and it's great that you want an extra guy. And the Riley, you can't. I just say, yeah, good. It's good, but at what cost? You know, that's not firsthand what you needed. So they got some grit in up front. Their problems in the ass end, defense, goaltending. It's not being addressed. And if he thinks he's getting them over the first round, I think they're still hanging in the same problem area. They'd be lucky to win a first round playoff, but if they win one, they're not getting past that after it. But I don't know. I don't like what he's doing for the Leafs, and I honestly think they're going to lose out. And I think that'll be the end of Dubas and Keefe. It's a disaster. You can't spend all your money on 4-star players and that's it up front. You got to have some defense and you got to have a solid goaltender. And that's going to be our job in the draft as well to see if we can find a goaltender for the future for Montreal. Because right now there's nothing. I know we got a lot of goaltenders in there, but they're all seventh round picks. If you're looking to get a star goaltender, you got to have the luck of trying to have a goaltender that's in the first round that's got some good write up about him. And I'm hoping that somehow, I don't know how that's possible, because we've only got one hope for a good trade to get us a first rounder. So only one shot right now. So we're going to talk about that right now. Trade talk. We got rid of, like I say, Dadanov. Now let's hope we can unload the other two in the Rat Pack, and that's Drouin and Hoffman. Now Hoffman, there's interest in, and you can see why. He could be utilized on the power play in a different squad, and with veterans around him, his flaws might be able to be covered up, and that you could see. So he's got some use to him, I see, and we might get something, nothing drastically great, but maybe we get a fifth rounder for him, possibly. And I'd take it, even if you have to pay a portion of his salary. Jonathan Drouin, you're not getting nothing for him. Let's give it up. Everybody sees who he is, what he is. If we're willing to pay half of what's left of his salary, there's not much of the season left, so it's not going to be a ton of money. Pay it, get him gone, because you're going to lose him at. You'd be crazy to pick him up at the off season. So with that being said, you're going to lose him, and there's going to be others that are going to be gone at the off season as well. Now our biggest hope was Sean Monahan. And that was a great hope for us. And if he had stayed in the lineup, yeah, I think he absolutely could have got a first rounder. But due to his injury prone ways and how long this has lasted, way beyond what everybody dreamt, and this is what I was worried about. I always did like Sean Monahan, but I knew he was injury prone. And hips, not a good thing. Just Brad Marchand is the one freak of nature that seems to have come out of that well. Everybody else, they're never the same and kind of finished when they have this surgery. Seems to be a very detrimental surgery. So for Sean Monahan, at this point, now that he's been out so long, he drops drastically trade value wise. So if you're going to just grab whatever you're going to get for him, because there's no sense of signing him in the offseason. As much as I like him, he's just too injury prone. Grab whatever it is anybody offers you. Fifth, sixth round, just take it. You still won the trade. So that being said, he's not going to get you the first round anymore. Next guy that would have been a hope was Joel Edmondson. And again, teams are going to look at Joel Edmondson. I think he would have been an option if he could have stayed healthy. Again, same problem. 2 years in a row with taking too much time for that back. It's now a reoccurrence, which I think teams are cluing in. Joel Edmondson's got more serious of an issue with that back. Can you count on him having that much longer of a career for you? That's hard to say. How much are you going to be able to utilize him? And now I think a team like the Leafs, that's what they should have gone after. Them in Edmonton. Even though he's injury prone, I think he's a guy that would be there for the playoff period and could add something for those teams. However, for us, he had a chance of being a first round, us sliming out a first round pick. Not anymore. And I wouldn't project that him or Monahan are going to go at the trade deadline. I'm not seeing it unless you're willing to take less. So with that being said, so that rumor that came out of supposedly a good source in Montreal that Eric Ingles put out, and I'm starting to think that was a pile of crap. Because don't tell me Joel Edmondson was worth a first rounder from Edmonton with Paul Viardi, and yeah, I know that's a big contract coming back, and plus a top end future consideration, young talent. That to me is hogwash that trade was going to be. You see, he said it came from a good source. I think his Ingles sources speak for themselves. Once in a while, he gets lucky because he goes on one of the outsiders tips. But other than that, he'll go with rumor too, and he's been known for that. So I totally disagree. Next thing will be the only hope we have of getting a first rounder will be Josh Anderson. And I'm glad that Gordon and Hughes are saying, you better knock the socks off us, because I think they have to stick to that, because I think that is our one and only hope of getting a first round pick. And if you get it, take it. Take it. We're young. This is rebuild time. And with the draft being so solid, you take it. Because this could be, I'd like to see us have that one more first round pick. That would, because if we could take the lowest first round pick that we have and utilize that, there's two goaltenders in that first round at the tail end of it. You'd use that bottom one for a goaltender, and that could be your future goaltender. That takes about 5 years to produce them, so that's going to be a ways down the road, but it addresses the issue. So that's being said, that's your only hope. However, do I think it's going to materialize? I'm kind of like Junkie. I think it's your only hope is him, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if anybody's going to wow them. That being said, it's going to be a lot of movements happening. And again, I think the Leafs have failed drastically in their trades, and I think it's going to be bye Dubas and bye Keefe. And looks good on them. Put all your money in 4-star forwards that you're paying way too much money for, and you won't address. You go out and get these players. What are you thinking, man? Get that top end defenseman and get a top end goaltender. You guys are in your last. This is the last year of Toronto's window. Mark my words. They're not going to be the team to be such a threat after this season. And don't be surprised if Austin Matthews walks, because you're either going to sign him for outrageous money and you have to unload Nylander or Tavares. And does Tavares want to go? It's going to a good question. Is he going to want to leave the team that is his childhood dream of playing? I highly doubt that he even has to give in to that. So I think this puts a lot of onus. Matthews has had a horrible season, and I think he has an injury in the wrist because he's not shooting. Also, though, I think if this team doesn't succeed in this playoff, Matthews getting close to the following year, his contract coming up, and there's been rumor that he wants to be in Arizona. Don't be surprised if he says this team blew it while they had the chance and he gets disgusted. I wouldn't be surprised. Keep your eye on it. There's some good hockey names that mentioned this, and I'm kind of on board with them. So, with that being said, that covers our time period of everything that needed to be addressed. Let's just hope we unload the Drouins, the bottom barrel guys, and create space for our kids, because our kids have done wonderful. And like I say, with Tierney and Dadanov, there's no loss there, because if they don't pan out, you can let them walk on the offseason and put your money to better projected players. So no loss there. Great shot in the dark. You get to take a chance, and like I said, Tierney gets a goal right away in his first game. So good luck, and I think he will be a better look than Dadanov or Drouin, those type guys myself. So they just need another one or two trades like that, but. I think you're almost going to have to package Drouin and Hoffman or something and come up with something. Just don't get rid of the brightness of the kids. We have a good lineup coming here. So that being said, my hats are off to Gordon and Hughes. I think they did a wonderful job in what they've done so far in the moves they made. Just those couple of moves with Tierney and getting rid of Dadanov. Good move. Again, I think Hughes should be GM of the year. That's my opinion. He gets my vote of confidence in the NHL. He's done a fantastic job in a short period of time with so much pressure and handled it so vitally well. Him and Gordon, class acts. I'm very comfortable with the Habs being in their hands. These were the right choices. And with that being said, that is the end of this video. This gets us back up to par after all my illnesses. And again, I say forgive me for the prior video where I made one error with the Montreal Edmonton game. I said 6-3, it was 6-2, as my son corrected me as he was following them. He knew I took a shot at him because he couldn't believe that and nor could I believe. I thought that score should have been the opposite way around. And that's the thing. Edmonton's in trouble if they don't make a move. They do need a defenseman and a goaltender. Otherwise, they could very well be sitting on the outside or barely get in. And I don't think they'll move far if they don't do it. Them and the Leafs got some issues. Now, I gotta say the Leafs have made a little more movement up front, but I don't think they're making the movement in the right place. So, and then you bring in Riley, who's got a big salary. How are you going to handle a fifth guy? Like, come on, guys, what are you thinking? Really, what are you thinking? I have no clue what you're thinking. So I think Dubas, you just killed Toronto. The last 3 years and this year were your shot, your window, and you blew it. Because now we got teams like Tampa and Boston for sure, who know that it's win now, and they're making the right moves in the trades. Because they know they have to win now, because the future, they're going to be rebuilding. So, that being said, I don't know. I knew Dubas was a mistake from the get-go. I said it. How you overlooked Mark Hunter is beyond me. How you got rid of Lou Lamoriello is beyond me. You're getting what you deserve. You went with this young guy thinking he was the all catch me out, and then it shows you experience counts for something, doesn't it? Yeah. So anyway, with us, we got the opposite thing. We got good people in our positions, and I'm very tickled pink about it. I like where the Habs are going. So, with that being said, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining the channel, and tell everybody you know. Where does the puck drop first? Center Hice. You come here. We'll give you the info, and hit the likes and the subscribes. And until the next show, we thank you very much. And I'm sure we'll be very much close to the trade deadline by the next time. I might have to take break before or immediately on or after. I might just do it on the day of. I don't know. We're going to see. But it's going to be an interesting trade deadline, but I don't think so much for the Habs. I think we kind of fell through the cracks with too many injuries. We got more injuries than we did last year. And hats off to the kids and the coach and the GMs. Good job, Montreal. And thank you for being here again. Hit the likes and subscribes. Until the next video, where's the puck drop? Center Ice. First. Yeah.